Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Walking Dead, Compendium number 3 by Robert Kirkman. In this third compendium, Rick Grimes and his fellow survivors must deal with a whole new set of threats. The safety of Alexandria and the hilltop is at stake when a new group of survivors, known as the Saviors, threaten to destroy everything that Rick has tried to accomplish. This third compendium also explores the question of whether or not there is such a thing as restoring civilization, or is it best to return to our primal nature? Before I get going on my thoughts on compendium number 3, just to let you guys know, I'm going to have a really small non-spoiler section here at the beginning, but I'm going to pretty much head right into spoilers right after that, but I will give you a warning when I am heading into spoilers, just to let you know. So for right now, no spoilers. This third compendium of The Walking Dead collects issues 97 through 144, and my god, you guys, oh my freaking god, how do you even begin to process the amount of craziness that happened in this book? Here's the thing you need to know about this compendium. It's past 100 issues. We're at 144 when this compendium ends. After 100 issues, you would almost start to believe or suspect, oh my god, this series, it's going to drag. How can Robert Kirkman come up with any new material? It's going to get stale and boring. But no. Just as you're starting to think that Robert Kirkman might be running out of ideas, that he might be running out of new threats for these characters, he does something that leaves you with your mouth hanging open in shock. And that's what I love about The Walking Dead, this whole series of comics, is that you never know what to expect sometimes, because you start to expect that the series might go in one direction, but then it kind of does a whole another different direction, and it totally surprises you. And Robert Kirkman is able to introduce new characters that you find interesting, and also new menacing villains. In particular, what I enjoyed about this compendium is the themes and questions that it posed. This compendium, it focuses a lot on this question of what is civilization? What exactly is civilization in this new world? Can civilization come back? Can we bring it back? Can we return to what we once had before the zombie apocalypse? Okay, so that's all that I want to do in regards to non-spoiler territory, and I'm heading right into spoilers. So if you do not want any spoilers, goodbye, and I'll see you next time. Okay, number 1 on my list of spoilery topics. All of the death. You guys, we gotta talk about all the major character deaths. Oh my god, it was ridiculous. I'm gonna look at my computer right now and list off the amount of people that died. Abraham, Glenn, Denise, Rosita, Ezekiel, etc. That's just a little small portion that I wrote down. I mean, the list, that's not even counting, some of the big major villains. It's not counting some of the minor, like, Alexandrians or Hilltop folk. But yeah, the ones that I just listed, those were the big shocks for me. Robert Kirkman, what he does well with the Walking Dead series is that he knows how to deliver a punch. He really knows how to deliver a punch. Kind of when you think things are going well with the survivors, all of a sudden he throws in this curveball and you're left going, what the hell just happened? Especially with the case of Abraham and Glenn. Number 2 on my topics of spoilery discussion, Negan. Oh my god. After the craziness that was the governor, I thought to myself, there's absolutely no way Robert Kirkman can top the governor. There's no way. And then he introduces Negan. Negan takes out a beloved character in a brutal fashion. And wow, I love Negan. He is the best villain in this series so far. So brutal. Negan, I think, is definitely the most vile villain that this series has produced. Negan is just a very interesting character because I think you as the reader have a bit of a complicated relationship with him, because Negan has a certain charm to him, a certain appeal, and you kind of weirdly like him because of his charm. But then he does these crazy things, and you're just kind of left like, oh my god, what has he just done? And then, yeah, his use of language is horrible. He likes to say fuck a lot. The word fuck is on every page multiple times whenever Negan is on the page. And Negan calls his baseball bat Lucille. Talk about a crazy villain. He names his weapon. So yeah, like I said, there's a certain degree of charm with Negan, but he's also really profane and disgusting, and yeah, you definitely have kind of a complicated relationship with him as you read through the series, I think. So just jumping right into Negan's conclusion, that was very interesting. I was kind of shocked when Rick said, hey, we're not going to kill Negan, we're just going to imprison him. That's our sense of justice in this new world. We're not going to be animals and just kill him because we can. If we want to restore civilization, we have to bring back certain things, and that includes, you know, imprisoning people and giving them trials and stuff. So that's what happens to Negan. Negan is imprisoned, and that's not going to go anywhere good, you guys. He's going to break out. All good villains break out of their prison cells. So yeah, I spent the last half of Compendium 3 waiting for Negan to bust out, or him charming somebody and them letting him out accidentally and then him killing them. But the compendium ends, like I said, this ends at issue 144. Negan is still imprisoned, but I'm expecting Rick and Negan to work together at some point because of the introduction of the Whisperers. I'll get to them in a minute, but we're introduced to the Whisperers, and I feel like Rick is going to need Negan's brutality and strength in regards to the Whisperers. So yeah, even though Negan is imprisoned right now, I don't think it's going to last much longer, because I think Rick is definitely going to need him at some point. Okay, moving on over to the Whisperers. Holy shit, you guys. Wow. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I did not like the idea of the Whisperers, because when you're first introduced to the Whisperers, they look like zombies, but apparently the zombies are talking to one another and they can use weapons. So at first I was like, oh, this is bullshit, Robert Kirkman. Are you trying to pull some Game of Thrones right here and have these really super advanced, intelligent zombies? But I liked that you get the reveal later that these are not zombies who can use weapons and talk. This is actually just regular human people who are clothing themselves in the skins of the zombies. And that is such an interesting concept, and I was instantly intrigued once that got revealed. The great thing about the Whisperers is that they are the complete opposite to Rick, and to everything that Rick represents. Like I was saying earlier, Rick really wants to restore civilization, but the Whisperers are kind of all about returning to our primal nature, you know, living off of the land, only living on what we need. And almost as if implying, hey, we should live in harmony with the walkers. So I definitely enjoyed that extreme. You know, Rick being on the one extreme and the Whisperers being on the other extreme. And I tell you what, after all of the craziness with Negan, once again, I was left at the end of Negan's story going, how is Robert Kirkman going to be able to top that? And then he introduces the Whisperers. And man, I cannot wait to see where the Whisperers story goes. You're definitely left hanging at the end when the alpha, the leader of the Whisperers, she has all those stakes lined up, and on all the stakes is a head of some character that we know. And like I said, I think Rick, he's gonna go Rambo on all these people. He's gonna need Negan. I think enough is enough for Rick. I cannot wait to see what he does to the Whispers. You guys, can I gush about Jesus for a minute? Oh my god. Okay, Jesus he was introduced in Compendium 2, kind of near the end of Compendium 2, But yeah, Compendium 3, get to see more of Jesus, get to see him integrated into the plot and the stories and all these characters. My God, I love Jesus. If I was asked, who is your favorite Walking Dead character? Hands up, Jesus. Let's just say I'm a bit obsessed with Jesus. I'm really obsessed with Jesus and his character. He's such a badass. He is so awesome. It's like, he can do everything. He doesn't have a flaw. If somebody is in trouble, he'll just come running out of nowhere and like punch somebody or kick somebody, and he can like do all these somersaults, and he's like really athletic. He's just always doing something cool. That's the thing with Jesus. Every time he's on the page, he's doing something cool, and he always has the best dialogue, I think. And another thing about Jesus is the fact that he's gay, and it doesn't matter. I love that, you know? It doesn't matter that he's gay. No one questions him. No one treats him bad. He's just a character like everyone else. He's just gay. And I loved what Robert Kirkman did with Jesus, you know, kind of casually introducing, hey, Jesus is gay, and not a big deal, you know, it's very casual. And yeah, Jesus, he's not a stereotypical gay guy at all, which I appreciated, you know. I hate when gay characters are introduced and they're just overly stereotypical. And I just love that Jesus is just such a badass, you know, and it's just all sorts of awesome with his character. But not gonna lie, you guys, I ship Jesus with everybody. Like I said, I'm obsessed with Jesus, so I'm gonna ship him with everybody. I ship him with Rick. I even ship him with Maggie, despite him being gay. Hell, I even wanted to ship Jesus and the horse that he kept riding on. So thanks a lot, Robert Kirkman, for making me fall in love with this character, being utterly obsessed with him. Thanks. There was a freaking tiger, you guys! Oh my God! We're introduced to this new set of heroes, survivors, kind of at the beginning of the story. Jesus takes Rick to this community called the Kingdom, and he introduces Rick to their leader, whose name is Ezekiel, and Ezekiel has a tiger. You know what I loved about the Kingdom, just overall? The Kingdom was hilarious. I loved anytime the Kingdom would be on the page, because the Kingdom was kind of almost like this medieval type of society, you know, and Ezekiel was like their king. And like all of his, you know, all of his people who did things for him, they were all kind of almost dressed like medieval knights, and would even speak like medieval knights sometimes. And the story between Ezekiel and his tiger Shiva, that was one of the sweetest moments in this compendium, you know, learning their backstory, their connection. And I am devastated that Robert Kirkman killed Ezekiel near the end, and then, you know, much earlier than that, he killed the tiger. Oh. But yeah, the tiger Shiva, she was badass. I loved how she would work into the plot, and how Ezekiel would use her in battle and just loose her out and she would go kill a bunch of people. That was so awesome. I'm very curious if the TV show is going to have a tiger. I would love to see a tiger. I guess moving on to Carl really quickly. You know, Carl's kind of been one of those characters I've not really given much thought to. He's kind of just there. He's usually a really whiny child, but what I appreciated with this third compendium and this set of stories is how much maturity Carl developed over the course of the series. And yeah, I really started to like Carl. Carl was doing some pretty stupid stuff, but I think I need to forgive him because he is an angsty teenager. But I like that Robert Kirkman was kind of starting to make Carl into a badass, and I hope it kind of continues from there. And something else I appreciated in regards to Carl, Robert Kirkman, he jumps up 5 years. The story jumps ahead into the future of 5 years, which I think was really good and much needed, especially with Carl, you know? And we get to see Carl as this angsty teenager. He's trying to discover himself. He's trying to please Rick. He just wants to make a name for himself. You know, he wants to go out on his own because Rick is being super overprotective. Rightfully so, I think, you know, considering this new environment. But yeah, Carl needs to go out, you know. And, you know, considering how Compendium 2 ended, Compendium 2 had that big cliffhanger of Carl getting half his face blown off. So we have that as well. Carl dealing with the trauma of his injury, trying to accept himself, you know, thinking himself kind of ugly and no one's gonna like him. And yeah, kind of learning by the end that his injury is who he is now. It's a part of him. But yeah, like I said, Carl, he definitely grows up and matures as a character, which I appreciated. But yeah, once again, he does some pretty stupid, foolish things. Lydia, anybody? Oh my god, as soon as they introduced Lydia, I knew bad shit was gonna happen with Carl. I also loved Maggie in this compendium, you guys. I have really hated Maggie in this series so far. I think mostly because of Lauren Cohan's performance on the television series. I love Lauren Cohan on the TV series as Maggie. She's just so brilliant in that role and this sense of control and power, you know, and she's a really headstrong woman and capable woman. And Maggie in the comic book series is kind of weak and pathetic, and I don't really like her that much. She's kind of whiny on occasion. So yeah, Compendium 3, Maggie's character went to some really good places that I enjoyed and appreciated. It's like, after Robert Kirkman killed Glenn, it's like Maggie's character improved because of Glenn's death. So yeah, thank you, Robert Kirkman, for making Maggie a much more interesting and compelling character, because I love and admire her now. And lastly, just to talk about Rick. I also really liked Rick's changes over the course of this compendium. He is our point of view character, pretty much. Rick goes through a lot in this compendium because all of a sudden he's thrust into this position of being a leader. You know, he has this role of leadership at Alexandria. He often feels like he's not capable. And even after the fall of Negan, I liked where Rick's story went there too. Like I said, the story after Negan, it jumps 5 years into the future, and Rick is almost portrayed as this legendary, mythical being, you know, that whenever he meets people, you know, if someone has never met him but they've heard of him, they're kind of awestruck, like, oh my god, it's Rick Grimes, sir, I love you, I appreciate everything you've done. And I think that's the thing, Rick is almost godlike to some of these people. Not everybody. Not everyone loves Rick. Not everyone's on the Rick love train. But a lot of people kind of almost worship Rick, almost godlike, and that makes him really uncomfortable. And something else that's interesting about Rick is that he continues to kind of be naive. I think that's Rick's big character flaw from start to finish of this series so far, is just how naive he is. And Rick kind of has this assumption that people can change. You know, people can be like him. And I think that's kind of why he doesn't even kill Negan when he does. I think he wants Negan to change, and he thinks that Negan can change. And Rick also thinks that everybody is open to the idea of restoring civilization. But like I was kind of saying much earlier in my review, not everyone likes that idea. Not everyone wants the return to the old ways of living. Some people want a whole new system in society, and Rick just wants to go back to things being normal. So yeah, that's it on my thoughts on Compendium number 3 of The Walking Dead. My mind has been absolutely blown. I need to continue with this series. So freaking good. Can't wait to see what the TV series does with these stories. It should be pretty badass and awesome. But yeah, in the comments below, where are you guys with The Walking Dead? Like I said, this ends at issue 144. No spoilers beyond that, please. But yeah, please tell me your thoughts and opinions, your favorite characters, your favorite moments, and yeah, do you disagree with me about certain characters and stories? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.